Very good morning, dear students. So, in the last session, we have seen the Carnot cycle under thermodynamics. Today, we'll be learning the air standard assumptions and the various air standard power cycles. Obviously, from the name, we can understand that air is a working medium, right? Air standard cycles, and these cycles are the ideal cycles. Theoretically, will be delivering the a better efficiency. These are the theoretical cycles. The hypothetical cycle, what we have learned in the last class, is Carnot cycle, with which all other cycles performance could be compared. Okay. Now the cycles which are used in practice are going to be discussed under this session. Now before going to the air standard cycles, we will see what are the air standard assumptions. The first and most important assumption is the working fluid is air. Always that is circulated in a loop, so no air is going out. A certain amount of volume of air is given to the system, and that will be continuously undergoing heating and cooling and circulated, and the air behaves as an ideal gas. That means the ideal gas relation which we have learned would be applied for the analysis. PV equal to MRT could be applied. Now the second air standard assumption is all the processes that make up the cycle are internally reversible. So no irreversibilities are associated with any of the four processes that comprising the cycle. So there are usually four different processes in a cycle. Commonly, cycles are comprised of four processes. So all the processes are internally reversible. External irreversibilities might be there, but internal irreversibilities are absent in all the processes. Now, you know that in an internal combustion engine, there will be combustion or burning of the air fuel mixture, right? By supplying the heat. So that combustion process in an air standard cycle is replaced by heat addition process. So that is equally replaced by heat addition process and exhaust process, where the combustion products are rejected to the surroundings. So that is replaced by heat rejection process in an air standard cycle. That is replaced by heat rejection process. So if you want to learn the difference between the combustion and heat addition process, you have to refer the topic on Otto cycle and diesel cycle, where you can see the various processes like compression, combustion, expansion, and exhaust strokes. There are different strokes in an internal combustion engine, right? So the corresponding theoretical air standard cycle, that is Otto cycle and diesel cycle, will be comprising of air standard processes. That is, the combustion process will be replaced by heat addition process in an Otto cycle, whereas in a spark ignition engine, that heat addition process is equally replaced by combustion process. I hope it is clear. Now, just a recap of thermal efficiency. Already we have covered this, which is the how much energy work output we can get out of an engine undergoing in a cycle, working in a cycle, out of the total heat given, out of the total heat input given to an engine working in a thermodynamic cycle, what is the output, work output, mechanical work output obtained? So that ratio is called thermal efficiency, and it is denoted by eta. The air standard efficiency, that is the ideal efficiency of an internal combustion engine working in an air standard cycle. So any engine in which combustion is happening inside, the efficiency the ideal efficiency, that is a maximum efficiency if that engine is operated in ideal conditions. So it is a standard with which the actual efficiencies can be compared. So there will be theoretical efficiency as well as actual efficiencies. We will deal with that in detail in the upcoming sessions in the third module. So let us apply the first law in order to get the expression for thermal efficiency in terms of heat addition and heat rejection, Q in and Q out, as you can see here. So when you apply the first law of thermodynamics, and finally we will reach it, the thermal efficiency is equal to 1 minus Q out by Q in, or Q out could be replaced by QL, heat addition to the low temperature sink, and heat rejection to the low temperature sink, and Q in is replaced by QH, or heat addition from the high temperature source. So all these things we are learning in almost every session, I think, right? In the last session also we have seen this Carnot efficiency. Now let us see most commonly used air standard power cycles. So actually the cycles could be classified broadly into two: power cycles and refrigeration cycles. Power cycles are the ones in which, as a result of heat addition, there will be certain work output, mechanical work output. On the other hand, the refrigeration cycles are intended to serve the purpose of lifting heat from a low temperature sink to a high temperature source by providing certain work input. So power cycles are work producing and the refrigeration cycles are work consuming. So these are the power cycles: Carnot cycle, already we have discussed, Otto cycle, diesel cycle, Stirling cycle, Ericsson cycle, and Brayton cycle. So let us see the different processes and the PV plot of these cycles in this session. So this is a pressure volume diagram of a Carnot cycle. We have already seen this in the last class, so I'm not going to discuss this in detail. So it comprises of two isothermal process and two adiabatic process. All four processes are reversible and all the processes are executed in a clockwise manner. So this is an Otto cycle where you can see there are two constant volume process and two isentropic. Isentropic process means a process which is adiabatic as well as reversible. A process which is adiabatic means there is no heat transfer, and when an adiabatic process is reversible, that could be called as isentropic process. Now this is a diesel cycle, one of the constant volume or isochoric process is replaced by a constant pressure or isobaric process. Okay, so in Otto cycle you have two constant volume and two isentropic, but in diesel cycle one constant volume, one constant pressure, and two isentropic process. Now this is a Stirling cycle where you can have you have the two constant volume processes similar to the Otto cycle, but instead of two isentropic process you have two isothermal process, and two constant volume processes are established by the process known as regeneration. So this Stirling cycle is very important in the case of the making of Stirling coolers and Stirling engines. This is a Ericsson cycle where you have again two constant temperature or isothermal process, but instead of two constant volume process you have two constant pressure process. Now last but not the least, the most important gas power cycle used in aircraft refrigeration systems as well as aircraft power systems. You have the Brayton cycle. You have two isentropic and two constant pressure processes. Two isentropic, compression and expansion, and heat rejection and heat addition at constant pressure. So we'll meet with another interesting topic in the upcoming session. Till then, goodbye. Thank you for watching.